Political parties often struggle to respond effectively to populism. They dismiss populist concerns as irrational or simply try to co-opt populist rhetoric without addressing the underlying issues. This can backfire and further alienate the voters and fuel the populist movement. To effectively respond to populism, mainstream politicians need to do two things: acknowledge and understand. They need to acknowledge the legitimate issues that fuel populist sentiment, whether it's economic inequality or political disenfranchisement. They need to understand the root causes of these grievances and avoid simplistic explanations. Offer concrete solutions. They need to offer concrete solutions that address these grievances in a meaningful way. This means going beyond vague promises and engaging in a genuine dialogue with populist voters to understand their needs and concerns. Strategies for mainstream politics. Here are some potential strategies that mainstream politicians can employ. Economic fairness. It is necessary to address economic inequality. This could involve policies such as progressive taxation, investing in education and job training, strengthening social safety nets, and promoting fair trade practices. It's about ensuring that the benefits of economic growth are shared more equitably and that everyone has a fair shot at a good life. Political reform. Mainstream politicians need to rebuild trust in democratic institutions. This could involve measures such as campaign finance reform to reduce the influence of money in politics, increasing transparency and accountability so the people can see how decisions are made, and promoting citizen participation in decision-making through things like public consultations and referendums. Cultural recognition. It is important to also acknowledge and respect diverse cultural identities. This could involve promoting policies that protect the rights of minority groups and actively combat discrimination and prejudice. It's about creating a society where everyone feels valued and respected regardless of their background. Dialogue and engagement. The key is to engage in open and honest dialogue with populist voters is key. This means actively listening to their concerns and explaining how mainstream policies can address their needs. It's about building bridges and finding common ground rather than simply dismissing populist views as irrational or extremist. Rejecting extremes. While it is important to address legitimate concerns, mainstream politicians should also firmly reject extremist ideologies and rhetoric. They need to uphold democratic values like freedom of speech and the rule of law. They also need to clearly distinguish themselves from far-right or far-left populist movements that promote hate and violence. The risks of populism. Responding to populism is not without its challenges and risks. Some mainstream politicians may be tempted to adopt populist tactics themselves, such as scapegoating minority groups or using fear-mongering to gain support. This can backfire, which erodes trust in the political system and further polarizes society. Others might try to simply ignore or dismiss populist concerns, hoping they will go away on their own. This is a dangerous strategy because by ignoring the underlying issues, mainstream politicians risk creating a vacuum that can be filled by more extreme voices. The way forward. The rise of populism presents a serious challenge to mainstream politics. However, it also offers an opportunity for renewal and reform. They mainstream politicians and reclaim the narrative and offer a positive vision for the future that inspires hope and unity rather than fear and division. Key questions for discussion. What are the most effective strategies for mainstream politicians to respond to populism? How can we build a more inclusive and responsive political system that addresses the concerns of all citizens? What are the risks of mainstream politicians adopting populist tactics? How can we promote civil discourse and dialogue in a polarized political climate?